What's going on, everybody? My name is Josh Washburn of Washburn Fab Co. It's been a while since I've done a business-related video, so here we are today. I thought it was time we should talk some business. Today we're going to talk about some of the common problems that can arise when working for yourself. This is going to be more like the cold hard truth about some things that go down, and that goes for any custom work business. It's not just welding, it's any custom work. That could be woodworking, it could be anything. But I have about 3 big points that we're going to go over here and talk about. People love to make videos about how great working for yourself is, and oh, you can make this much money doing this from home, from your garage. And nobody actually talks about the downsides. So if you're just getting into this and you want to hear some truth, this video will show you some truth to how it actually is working for yourself, because YouTube is filled with videos that are trying to get you to watch because, oh, I'm going to make so much money doing this. I can quit my job. I can, do this or that, and I can start buying all kinds of stuff. It's not going to work out like that every time. Um, there's a lot of work you have to put into all this to make it work out. Even after 5 years of running my business so far, I haven't really hit the point where it's all profit yet. It's going to be different for everybody. It kind of depends what you do, what your niche is. For one-off custom work, it's going to take some time to return on your investment. It's going to be a lifelong thing. It's not just something that you pick up and decide to do in one afternoon and post that you're doing welding work now. It's not going to really work out like that when you're trying to scale. So let's get into it. The first big problem that I see all the time is that your customers aren't going to understand how much work goes into a job. The reason for that is because they've never done the work themselves. If they could do the work themselves, they would probably do it. Once in a while, you do get the rare occurrence where somebody actually knows what's going on and they know how to do the work that you're doing, but maybe they just don't have the time to do it, so they pay you to do it instead. That one's cool. That usually always goes well because they know good work when they see it. But the majority of the general population looks at a project and sees a price of something similar associated from it, which is going to come from like a manufacturing shop. And they think, I see this ad for a welding business that's local. Let me go local and see if what they can do for me. But what they fail to realize is that most parts that are made production, where you can just order them on Amazon or order them through a website, they're going to be jigged up. They've already got this stuff designed in CAD. All their measurements, all their cuts, all their CNC files are all pre-done, and they got one person on every machine running those machines, whether it's a shear, chopping up flat bar, or a press brake, or the CNC table. They have one person specifically for all those things that does those things all day long. So instead of just cutting out one part here on a plasma table and then walking over and, okay, now I got to clean this up, and then now we're going to put it in the press brake and bend this, and then now I got to go over and weld it. They got one guy that's pumping out 1,000 parts on each of them a day, or whatever number it is. 1,000 is just an example, which cuts their costs down by so much because they're just on auto rapid fire mode producing those parts. And then when they have all their parts all ready to go, their welder is just throwing them in a jig and welding them up, and it's fast work. So if you see something that somebody says, hey, can you build this? A lot of the times I'll tell them probably not cheaper than what you can order it for, but I can give you something better quality than what you're going to get out of the production work here. With that being said, that's going to drive a lot of people away, which it kind of should. We shouldn't be doing custom work for people at a lower rate than what's paid for production. So the only time we should is if they say, hey, so-and-so makes this, but I don't like that, but I like this idea, but we need it to do this, or we need it at a different size. Then sure, let's make one custom so that it fits their application. That's a good time to actually do a job like that. Besides that, a lot of people are going to just try to get something for cheaper. They think going local and, getting somebody that's just doing it on the side or doing it out of a small shop, that they can get the job done cheaper and it's going to save them money. It's not going to work like that unless you're going to get some shady work done where it's probably worse quality than the production work. So that brings me to another point. Not every job that you quote you should be doing. It should be a pretty low percentage of jobs that you quote that you're actually doing. Of course, higher sounds better, but it's not always better. If everybody's going for your job, you're doing something wrong. You're doing it too cheap, and you're probably not making profit in the end. A little tip about quoting: always charge for an appointment deposit upon quotes. If your quote is more in depth than just looking at a picture and telling them your hourly rate and it's going to cost your hourly plus materials till it's done. If they have something they need to bring to your shop or you have to go drive to them and then calculate material and design it, do not waste your time. And I cannot stress this enough. I wasted a lot of time doing that and never received the jobs that I quoted. You can spend your whole week doing quotes just to get 10 hours worth of work. A lot of people are going to be tire kickers and aren't serious and don't understand the work that goes into what we are doing to get the job done, and they just want to see a price and they're window shopping. They don't really know what they want yet. It may sound rude of me to say that I won't really quote without a deposit, or I don't want to talk to people without a deposit. I'll give them the general information and I send them to my website, which has all the general frequently asked questions about pricing, what we do, what we don't do, how billing works, all that kind of stuff. So if they look at that and then they see, okay, that's reasonable for what we're trying to do here, they'll see the option for placing an appointment deposit to either meet me locally at the shop and pick their time or meet me out on a job site wherever we're going. That deposit really shows to you that your customer's serious. My deposits are non-refundable, but if you do accept our quote price, we take that $50 deposit out of your total bill. So it's just like paying a little bit up front for the job before it started. One thing that's absolutely crazy to me is how weird the general population is. If you haven't posted ads on websites like Facebook or Instagram or Google or anything, the people you talk to most of the time are okay, but a lot of the times there's some weirdos on there, and it is strange the stuff you will see. And that's one big reason why I don't have my address publicly listed anywhere for the shop. Right now, it's on like a farm property out in the country. But even if I went commercial and moved somewhere in town or in an industrial area, I don't even think I would post the address for the general public to be able to walk in. Um, I took a screenshot from a message I got last week. This happens like maybe every 2 weeks. I get some crazy, outrageous message about doing work for somebody with some weird wheeling and dealing going on. I'll put those screenshots up and read them real quick. Okay, so here's a look at the messages that you will get. This one was on Facebook. I saved this one because I thought it was hilarious. Most of the time, they're not funny, just people don't have common sense. But here we go. This guy says, I want total armor plating on the underside of my friend's Subaru. He has the money for this and is searching for one. I think he wrecked it last night though. Hopefully he's okay. If you do his Subaru, you can charge him a decent price, then maybe you can work me in for something for my truck with a smaller budget. But I want it all. You gotta hook me up for sending you my Subaru friend. We're buddies in this together. Do him right. Charge him well. He recently received 100,000 from the PG&E fire lawsuit. Do him right, then take care of me, and I have $1,000 for you cash. But I want it all. I want a skid plate for the entire bottom of my truck to cover the tranny and all that, makeshift rock sliders, or we can leave that out. But most importantly, I want a front and rear bumper with bars to wrap around the corners so I can ram or bump into anything, as well as the skid plate covering the tranny. If it's got to be lighter material, that's cheaper, so be it. I just want something to absorb any possible impact. But please, my friend with the Subaru, do him right. You can charge him high price, okay? He's ready to pay. We can both pull up on you over the weekend on a Friday. Got it? This is guaranteed money in your pocket. We'll stay over the weekend helping you get it done. My friend is also a metal worker and welder working at we also work various farms and I own a company. This is guaranteed money. Let me know what your schedule is. Thank you. Have a stellar day, buddy. Love. What in the heck did I just read? This is wild, right? Sometimes I'm just in awe and I don't even know what to say. So I just said 1,000 cash doesn't even get you one bumper, let alone both bumpers and sliders and body armor. For the whole outfit, you're looking around 67K. Sorry, I don't negotiate like this. And he said, I told you, charge my buddy double if you need to, or plus 75%. What kind of buddy are you if you're gonna have me charge your buddy double? People are just strange. I don't know what else to say about that, but I got a good laugh out of it, and I'm sure you guys will get a good laugh out of it too. But this is the kind of stuff that you get, and I get this stuff once in a while, and it's not out of the ordinary anymore. I'm not surprised. One of the last big things about working for yourself that I'm going to tell you today that like nobody wants to tell you, it's like everybody keeps the negative stuff a secret or something. I don't know. Um, I think it's all to get views. Like, people rather hear good stuff than hear negative stuff. Like some guys probably were thinking, I'm going to start a welding business. And then they watch this video and they're like, I don't feel like dealing with that kind of stuff. It's just kind of how it goes. And I can talk all day long about the negatives, but I can talk about the positives too. The last big thing I'm going to talk about is that big money in means big money out. Just because we might be charging 80, 100, 120 an hour, depending, shop or mobile, um, does not mean that we're getting big money in our pockets. You might be charging $100 an hour. I'm using 100 because that's an easy number to do math with. Say you worked 40 hours in the week. A lot of those hours could have been taking care of your shop, maintaining your tools, cleaning out your plasma table, taking care of bills, doing quotes, servicing your equipment, whatever it might be. And say out of those 40 hours, you only had 10 hours that were paid. You had one full 10-hour day that was paid for the week. And if you're charging $100, that's only $1,000 right there for 40 hours worth of work. So you put that into a month, you worked 160 hours, but you only got paid for 40 hours worth of work. So that's only $4,000. And on top of that $4,000, you have all your monthly expenses, your shop rent, everything that has to do with your truck if you're doing mobile. I have a complete breakdown on pricing in another video where I talk really in depth about all of the expenses that I have figured out for running the business. You might have the internet for your shop, you might have the electricity for your shop, you're going to have all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to list everything. So that 4,000 that you just made might actually drop down to, you made about $1,000. So even though you made 4,000 in the month, that might drop down to you only did maybe about 1,000 to yourself personally, and the rest had to go back into the business. One thing you should definitely do from the start is have two dedicated checking accounts, your personal and your business, and pay yourself out of it a select portion as an hourly rate that you need to pay your personal bills. If you don't, you're going to get this false sense of reality that you're making more money than you're actually making, and you might spend it. I'm speaking from experience here. Um, you might make poor spending choices because you feel like you're making money when in reality you're not looking at what you just spent to go get those jobs done, and it'll come back and bite you. One messed up thing right now is the amount of guys that are doing this as like a side hustle and are probably putting out some shady work for some really cheap rates and probably aren't even insured is through the roof right now. There's so many people. There's like I can pick up this water bottle on the table here and throw it up in the air in the middle of town here, and I'll probably hit somebody else that's doing welding on the side. Like, I personally know of like 6 or 7 guys within 5 miles of where my shop is that are doing something similar to me. The messed up thing is when we have all these guys side hustling that don't really have the experience and are learning as they're going on the jobs, is they're charging a really low rate to do some poor work. And when a customer looks at that, they might get 2 quotes. They might come to me for a quote, then they might go to, whoever down the road for another quote. And he might have been welding for a year or 2, and I've been doing this for almost half my life, I would say. And they see his quote as about half the cost of mine. The reason why they're so different is because I'm going to be more efficient with my time than the other guy with less experience, especially if the project's something I specialize in. If it's not something I really specialize in, I actually probably send it out to one of the guys I know that's local to me. I actually just received a quote for a structural project that I didn't want to do because I don't do structural. It's just not something I want to mess with. I don't have experience there. I'm not even going to touch it. I sent it out to a buddy that I knew from going to school when I was younger that's doing the same kind of deal. Sent it over to him, let him have the job. He's going to do a good job on it. I know it, because that's what he mainly focuses on, is structural. I don't take jobs that are out of my realm. But these guys are charging low and undercutting, so don't be that guy. Get your experience in the industry, whether it's doing your own projects. I don't even want to say that you have to go out and work at a shop, because I don't think that's the way to learn. In my opinion, you can go get a production job and you just sit there and MIG weld on their settings all day long. How's that teach you anything? That teaches you how to pull a trigger. Um, there's some other exceptions. If you were able to get into a custom fab shop, that would be something good. But realistically, the only way you learn how to do this stuff is kind of doing it on your own, which sucks. Unless you were, say, a fence and gate guy, and when you left that job as a fence and gate guy, that's all you do is fence and gate. Maybe something here and there for people on the side that's a little bit different and out of your realm, to start learning into that niche. Try not to deviate from your specialty too much. General fabrication's fine, but like me, as a guy that would say I specialize in heavy equipment repair and off-road accessories like bumpers and stuff like that, there's no way I would have taken that structural job that popped up. Sure, fence and gates, yeah, all day long, I've done them, no big deal, that's easy. But if it comes to building a building, no, that's not my realm. I won't be there. I won't quote that. I won't entertain the idea of thinking about that. It's just not there. So these smaller guys that are doing side hustles, that are charging these lower rates, have no idea what's going into business. They'll probably be a year deep into business and then realize, oh crap, I didn't make any money because I'm charging so low. And I've worked 60 hours this week because everybody's accepted my jobs and I'm still broke. What's the deal? The deal is you're charging too little. You're making people get a false reality that prices should be lower than they actually are. And it's just all bad for the industry. If you actually want to work for yourself and you want to do it right, surround yourself with people who are like-minded and work for themselves. It can be any industry, honestly. It doesn't have to be welding. As long as they own their own business or they're an entrepreneur of some sort. I really try not to take advice from anybody that doesn't do something similar. Anybody with a day job that tells me anything about how business works or what I should do is going to go in one ear and out the other. I'm not listening. I'm not taking it into consideration. Like I said before, you may think I'm rude for the way I talk. I'm just here to tell you guys, cold and dry, this is how it is. You can definitely take some bits and pieces out of what people tell you and take it into consideration a little bit if you respect them. But sometimes even other people that are self-employed and own businesses haven't been in your exact shoes before. And I've even listened to other guys that run business tell me one thing, and I've done it, and it's been a very poor choice. because of the completely different industry. Obviously, I don't want to say the industry because it would be like putting them on blast for it. A lot of people don't really see what's going on behind the scenes when they're telling you all this stuff. There's only a select few friends and family that I listen to, like my dad that owns a trucking company, or like my helpers. They hear a lot of the struggle and they hear me complain and talk about it. So they might not ever been in my shoes, but they have a better understanding because they're here and around me. So it's good to take consideration from guys that work for you a little bit. You know, like I said, you don't have to do exactly what they say, but sometimes they're going to have some good points that you should probably take into consideration a little bit just because maybe you don't see it. They're doing the same thing right next to you most of the time. They're going to see something that you don't see once in a while. But running a business is going to have so many ups and downs. Don't expect to start and just have it take off and it's going to be all fine and dandy. It's not really how it works. I wish it was, but it's not. If you guys have any questions for me whatsoever, feel free to drop them in the comments. If it's something more personal, more dedicated to your business, and you want to hear what I would do, and you don't want it to be public, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or anything, and I'll shoot you a reply as soon as I have time to do so. If you actually sat through this whole video and you enjoyed me talking about all this, and you would like to see me talk more about business related stuff like this, we're going to come up with a course. I think it's going to be sometime in the summer. It's going to have a monthly membership. I'm not sure on the rate. It's going to be cheaper for the first so many people. It's kind of undecided, but it is in the works. I have most of it scripted out and a general idea of how it's going to go. And I'm kind of looking for a couple guys, maybe with different niches, that would be interested in being mentors for the course. We're going to have a live, discussion area of some sort. I'm not sure if that's going to be a Discord or something similar, but there will be a few money making opportunities for a select few of you that would want to be mentors for a course and maybe help develop different areas for your niche if you felt like it. If you did not feel like it, that's absolutely fine too. You can just answer general questions that come in that are business related, and there's going to be money making potential in there. If you have a good following on either YouTube or Instagram or TikTok on your business page, feel free to reach out to me and maybe we'll start talking about the mentorship and what the program's going to entail to see if that's something you would be interested working with me on. Don't forget, we're giving away a Yes Welder Cut 55 DS Pro plasma cutting machine at 3,500 subs. We're only at like 19 right now. It's been a busy couple weeks for me. Business is starting to pick up, which I'm glad, but I'm going to try to get these videos pumped out in between jobs and here and there try to record some stuff on jobs and get them posted. If you like this video or found any of these points helpful, please drop me a comment, give this video a like, and hit subscribe to not miss out on more welding business information. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.